Kids don't forget.
Kids don't forget.
You kids don't forget.
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 Kids don't forget. Kids don't forget.
Aaron, good afternoon. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Yourself?
I'm good. I can't complain.
Glad to
So,
hear.
did I say your name correctly? What's the correct pronunciation of your name?
Yes, that is the correct pronunciation of my name. It's Aaron. My whole name is Aaron William Cooper.
Okay.
I say it funny, but
So, with that being said, has your name ever been mispronounced in the history of your life?
unfortunately, yes.
Okay, what have you gotten?
I've got Eric. I got Aaron. Erin.
Aaron, like a girl.
Yeah, pretty much. They call me a bunch of crazy things. I got Darren. I'm like, where Darren? Aaron, all right, whatever.
Right. You said you've gotten Cameron.
Yeah, I got Cameron. I'm like, how you get Cameron from Aaron?
Right.
Two different syllables. The funniest was Cougar. I'm like, where the heck Cougar come from Aaron? Like, that don't even sound alike.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, what were some of your nicknames growing up?
All right, my family, I hate telling a secret. They call me Ren.
R-E-N.
R-E-N,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
I got my sixth grade teacher, Miss Harrison. I hated the name. It was during the time of Bobby McFerrin. Don't worry, be happy. She
Right.
said, I always look serious. So she started calling me Be Happy. Like every time I came in the classroom, Be Happy. I'm like, dang, stop calling me that.
So, Be Happy became your name.
Be Happy. Back in high school, I got Griswold.
Right.
Supposedly, it was based on the character from A Living Color.
Right.
The Damon Wayans character.
Okay.
The jail cell dude. His name was Oswald. I'm like, where'd they get Griswold from Oswald?
Right.
But it is what it is. I'm gonna just leave it at that. It gets worse.
So, question, where are you from?
Born and raised in Camden, the Whitman Park section. People that grew up in Camden call it something different.
Okay.
You know, P-Town. I don't want to offend nobody, so I don't want to say it. You know what I mean? So,
Got it.
But people know what it is.
I'll say it. So, people call it Pollock.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Right around the corner from West Jersey Hospital.
Okay. Got it. How would you describe your neighborhood growing up?
My neighborhood was basically a mixture of families. Like everybody in the area, they owned their own. The parents owned their property. We grew up as family. Like I say, I got Puerto Rican brothers. I got brothers and sisters from around the corner. My block was basically filled with a bunch of young, I'm gonna say knucklehead young men because we had like two females lived in the whole neighborhood from corner to corner.
Right.
And basically, it ain't as rough as it used to be. My fault, let me rephrase. It ain't as rough. It wasn't as rough as it is now.
Got it.
You know, we had fun. We stayed outside all day long. We would sleep with our doors open. I hate to put that out there, but can't do that no more. When we went outside, old school, street lights come on. Your parents wanted to know where you was at.
Right.
But we'd stay outside on the step till sun come up. Like, just having fun. We ain't had to worry about nothing.
So safety wasn't an issue for you growing up?
Not at all. Everybody's mom and dad was basically the neighborhood mom and dad. If you did something wrong,
right,
trust and believe, by the time you made it to your step, your mom and dad knew what was going on because people either got on the phone or they literally walked to your door, knocked on the door, was like, your son is out here doing so-and-so.
Right,
like,
right.
all right, so your parents was waiting for you. So, you know, you couldn't make it past the first two steps without your parents like, what you do? So definitely safety was a big deal back then.
Okay. Were you an only child?
Nah, I'm the youngest of 5.
You're the youngest of 5. So if you are, I want you to imagine that you are 10 years old right now.
Gotcha.
If you're 10 years old, how old are your siblings?
If I'm 10, I got a brother and a sister that are 20.
Okay.
I got a sister that's 19 and a brother that's 14.
Okay.
The reason some people might be like, how you got a brother and sister the same age? Was they twins? I'm like, nah, they not twins. I hate using this term, but it's the truth.
Right,
they
right,
are
right.
project twins. My
Got
dad had somebody pregnant the same time my mom was pregnant by somebody else. And my dad married my mom when she was pregnant with somebody else's child. So for the most part, my brother is my brother, my sister is my sister. They treat my mom and dad as if they are mom and dad. No disrespect, no nothing. And we all grew up. That's my brother, that's my sister. No differentiation. We all, brothers and sisters.
So how was that like being the youngest growing up with your older siblings? What were your relationships with them?
It was kind of different. When I say different, as in basically, I'm the youngest, but I'm not the baby. When I say I'm not the baby, my brother that is 4 years older than me, he might laugh and joke, or he might be upset with me saying it, but he the baby. He the one that basically act different. People will ask him or ask us now, which one is older, which one is the younger one, because I don't act like the baby. He act like the baby.
Right. He's
the one that's spoiled. And for the most part, for me, it was kind of rough because I got the hand-me-downs, the old school. All right, I'm tell too much, but I used to wear my sister's sneakers.
Right.
Because I was the child that basically, I wasn't deprived. I got everything that I needed, but at the same time, my mom and dad would take me shopping like 2-3 times a year when the seasons change. Before school, wintertime, summertime. That's when I went shopping.
Right.
But my brothers and sisters, on the other hand, they was older. So they did what they had to do. They had money to get what they needed whenever they wanted. So sometimes, because I was smaller and about the same size as my sister, she would basically give me her shoes.
Okay.
That's back before unisex came to stop.
Right.
So yeah, I wore female sneakers. I hate to admit it.
So did you grow up with both parents? Speaking of your parents.
Born and raised with both my parents. They are still married to this day. They've been married 54 years.
So you had both parents the entire time?
Yes.
Which makes you the rarity in the hood growing up.
It's rare now, but everybody in my neighborhood had the mom and dad at home. So my neighbors that I call my Puerto Rican brothers, they had their mom and dad there. My friends and my brothers around the corner, their mom and dad was there. So
right.
I'm used to seeing everybody grow up with their parents there.
So it wasn't just you?
Nah, it wasn't just me.
Interesting. Because I think like today, that's you're like the minority in the hood. Like probably the least minority are kids who grew up with just their dad. And then right after that is kids who grew up with both parents at the same time for the whole time.
So my son falls into the category of growing up with just his dad, because right now I'm the main parent. My son is with me 24/7, 365. For the most part, I work 2 days a week. So the 5 days a week that I'm off, he's with me. And on the day that I do go to work, I'm dropping him off in the morning and picking him up when I get off work. So
okay,
we got both you sit there.
Got it. How would you describe your relationship with your parents, with your mother and with your father?
Right now, I would say it's good.
Well, growing up,
it wasn't straight. It was different to me because I would see my dad. My dad would take me to school in the morning. Then when I get off school, I didn't see my dad until it was either time to go to bed or saw him when I woke up. My dad was old school definition, a true hustler. He had his day job, but he also had a billion different side hustles. So he was always on the go. And
like what were some of his side hustles?
He was a carpenter, plumber. He drove cabs. He baked cakes. He did all different types of events for people. Like when I say bake cakes, like my dad used to do decorations for cakes back before Buddy the Cake Boss was out.
Right.
He never used fondant. He did everything with confectioner sugar. And the only reason I know that is because I was the kid in the kitchen with him eating all the snacks. And when he shaved the cakes, I took the pieces of the cake, took some icing, made my own thing. My dad made his own icing from scratch.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So old school, straight up hustler. Not the street term, but old school as in he gonna do whatever he gotta do for $1.
Got it.
So.
Got it. What about your mom?
My mom was an educator my whole life.
Okay. What's your mom's name, by the way?
My mom's name is...
What would we call her in the hood? Miss what?
Miss Gladys.
Miss Gladys. And what would we call your dad, by the way?
My dad, his name is William, but nobody calls him William.
Okay.
They call him Brother.
Okay.
And that was his name.
So would you say, if I was a kid, I would say Mr. Brother?
Yes. Dead serious.
Okay.
That's what people to this day, grown folks. yeah, how Mr. Brother doing? I'm like, yeah, for real? Like, his name William. They like, nah, that's brother.
Shout out to Mr. Brother and Miss Gladys.
So, my mom, she was an educator for 36 years.
Define educator. Principal, teacher.
She was a teacher.
Okay.
She started off teaching at Bonsall Elementary School.
In Camden.
Yes, in
Okay.
Camden. Moved to H.B. Wilson, and then went from H.B. Wilson to Coopers Point, where she retired from. And the crazy part about that, we was just at Home Depot yesterday.
Right.
I promise you. And somebody walked up on her and was like, "Are you Miss G. Cooper?" They had to differentiate. Her name is Miss G. Cooper to all her students,
Right.
even to this day.
Right.
The reason being is because my aunt was also an educator, a teacher at the same school as my mom. So you had Miss A. Cooper and Miss G. Cooper. So basically,
Got it.
people like, yeah, Miss G. Cooper still to this day, and it's funny to see that. I'm like, all right, you got brother here, Miss G.
Right.
Cooper.
And only people would know that actually went there.
Yep.
Right. That's cool. So overall, you feel like you had a great relationship with both your parents, which is also put you in the minority.
Like I said, it wasn't rough, but as far as the relationship with my father, my dad and my brothers, I'm putting them in the same category. They didn't really start speaking to me until I turned 18.
Okay.
So when I say start speaking to me, yeah, it was conversations here and there, like literally. Remember how some of the comedians be like, yeah, when they met their father, their dad be like, you know, I'm your dad, and they leave.
Right.
We had those quick 10-second conversations, my dad and my brothers. Yo, blah, 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 blah. All right, cool. Like, hold up, wait, what? Like, it's like,
Right.
all right. But then when I turned 18, that's when they started inviting me to hang out, started doing stuff. I'm like, hold up, where was this at when I was younger?
Right.
Like,
Right.
the 10-year-old self, I'm sitting there playing G.I. Joes and Legos by myself. They running around doing whatever they doing. But then when I became 18, it's like, all right, whatever I was doing or whatever they was doing, yo, come with me real quick to do this, or can you help me with this? I'm like, but I needed that when I was younger.
Right,
So
right.
it wasn't contentious. It was just, they just wasn't there.
So speaking of that, did you wind up becoming a parent yourself?
Yes, well, I became a parent.
Well, you just said that, right? You already said
No,
like,
but the funny part about that is my son is 13 years younger than me. I'm 43 right now, so my son is 13.
okay.
And a lot of my friends,
Well, he's not 13 years younger than you are. He's just 13.
yeah, I got you. But a lot of my friends, their grandkids is the same age as my son. I'm like,
Right.
So technically, I started late. So they say, but
How would you describe some similarities and differences between your parents' parenting style with you and your parenting style with your son?
big difference.
Okay.
The thing with my parents was they were like, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. If you don't want to do it, okay. And they were the type of parents that will pick you up, drop you off, take you wherever you wanted to go, and let you do whatever you wanted to do. Just don't get in trouble. My thing is, for the most part, up until this point in my son's life, it was more structure. When I say structure, I wanted to expose him to different things and make sure he saw some of the things that I didn't do. Like, even to this day, our conversation is, what do you want to do? And my agreement with him, he understands. If you start something, you gotta finish it.
Okay.
So if you're gonna play baseball, all right, baseball season is from April to May or April to June.
Right.
So April to June, that's it. There's no quitting. I don't care if you suck. I don't care if you don't make it on the field ever. If you say that's what you're gonna do, that's what you're gonna do.
Honor his commitment.
Yes.
Okay.
My parents, if I say, all right, I want to play football, go out there and be like, man, I feel like playing. Okay.
Okay.
And as far as exposure, pretty much, my parents didn't expose me to much. I laugh and joke with my son, like, yo, the Wells Fargo Center is our second home. Because we go there for everything. And all basketball season, once a month, we go to a basketball game.
Okay.
Harlem Globetrotters, BMX, monster trucks, whatever, we there. They did the parade of lights or whatever, we there. My parents, I remember going to one baseball game with my dad, nothing else.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you feel like your son has an advantage that you don't let him stop doing stuff versus what? Like, so if you started playing football and you determined it's not what you wanted to do, they let you quit and you went and did whatever else you did. Your son, you're personally not having that. He has to go through the whole season.
Yes.
What's the advantage or disadvantage there?
Great advantage for him is the fact that he learns structure and values now at a younger age than I did. And basically the fact that somebody's there with him, supporting him, he knows the value of that. Like, I'm setting an example of what a man is supposed to be for my son, as opposed to him going out to the streets and figuring out, all right, well, I don't want to be this type of man, or I don't want to be that. Nah, my thing is commitment. That's one of the biggest words with him that I'm teaching him. Like, yo, you got to stay committed to whatever you want. And one of the things that a lot of people say is missing in our community is the black father.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, all right, cool. He's growing up in a home with a black father that's actually engaged and involved in every aspect of what he do. I don't drop him off nowhere. And it's funny, some people laugh like, yo, your son always with you. I'm like, hold up, time out. It ain't he always with me, I'm always with him. Because right now he's at the age where he pick his activities. So if he's picking his activities and I'm taking him to his activity and I'm sitting there watching him or sitting there in the vicinity, because I don't watch him because he got that stereotypical kid thing. Like, all right, I'm going to do right as long as my dad watching. But then when my dad turned away, ain't no telling what he going to do.
Right, right.
Like, I laugh at the fact that 9 times out of 10, if I get up to walk away, I hear the coaches and teachers, Xavier. I'm like, can y'all stop calling his name? Then when I walk back, you don't hear his name mentioned ever. But if I step away, he start goofing all. But when I'm there, he got, they say he coachable. My thing is, yeah, he very coachable as long as I'm there.
Right. Let's get back to your childhood. I bet you don't remember all the schools you went to growing up.
That's easy.
Okay, kindergarten, go.
From kindergarten through 4th grade, I went to H.B. Wilson.
Which is where?
Fairview section of the city.
Okay.
And then they introduced the CHIPS program, which is in Parkside at Forest Hill. I went there for like 3 months, and I really didn't like the environment, so I asked my mom to transfer back, and I went back to H.B. Wilson.
So let's stop for a second. Your mom actually was a teacher at H.B. Wilson.
Yes.
What was that like?
It was cool. Like, it was second nature to me. I started in kindergarten. My mom was there, and even going back further, pre-K. When I went to pre-K, I went to BPM, which is downtown Camden.
Okay.
And basically, I split days. I went day BPM, afternoon HB Wilson. So I grew up in an environment where my mom was there, and pretty much all my teachers were my mom's friends. So
got it.
It was nothing.
Yeah,
It was
no
like
problems
family.
in school whatsoever.
Not at all.
So you said you went to Forest Hill and Parkside for 3 months.
Yes.
And then you determined you didn't like the environment. What was it that you didn't like?
I have no clue.
You don't remember? It's too far.
I would just say it just wasn't for me. It wasn't that the education was hard, because I was an AB student, and subsequently every now and again I get a C, depending on how I felt.
Okay.
But no matter where I went, AB. And when I went to Forest Hill, same thing. It just wasn't for me.
Okay. So you go back to HB Wilson.
Yes.
And do you graduate from HB Wilson?
Yes, I graduated from HB Wilson, then went to Morgan Village. Then
Where's Morgan Village?
it's still in Fairview.
It's also in the Fairview section.
Yes.
Okay. And you did that 6th through 8th grade?
Yes.
How was that experience for you?
Morgan was different. I'm gonna say it was a culture shock, because nobody prepared you for the combining of all the schools in the area. You got H.B. Wilson, Sumner, you got, I forget what other schools was out there, Yorkshire. All the schools came together at Morgan Village, and when they came together at Morgan Village, you had culture clashes.
So it's kids from different neighborhoods now,
Yes.
not just your neighborhood.
Yes.
Okay.
So when the kids from different neighborhoods got together, it was a little bit, some days was rougher than others, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Not that I got into anything, but I was always the kid that if something jumped off, was like, all right, I know, go that way.
Okay. So
Like,
even though the school is in Fairview, all the kids are not from Fairview.
correct.
So you got kids from where? Where else?
Centerville, Fairview, you got Whitman Park, you got downtown. You got basically almost the whole city there except for Parkside.
Right. So so now it's like the Fairview kids are banding together against the Centerville kids, against the Whitman Park kids, right?
Yep.
Interesting. So how'd you fare with that?
Oh, I stayed to myself. It's like what Sonny from a Bronx tell say. He was like, when you go to jail, you can either read, work out, or get in trouble. And they was like, all right, so what did you do? He was like, oh, I read.
right.
So
right.
basically, I was always the opposite. If anything jumped off here, all right, I was over here. If anything moved over here, I was over here. Like, for what I'm gonna say, I was blessed to find a way out of trouble.
Okay.
That's the best way I could put it.
Interesting. So you graduate from Morgan Village.
Yes.
And you go where?
I went to Camden High.
How was that experience? Or did you do the whole 4 years at Camden High?
All 4 years at Camden High.
Okay. So you had a pretty stable childhood as far as schools.
Pretty much.
Did you live in the same house growing up?
Born and raised.
So you lived in one house.
Yes.
And you went to really 2 elementary schools. You got transferred to the quote SMART program, determined you didn't like it, and went back to your neighborhood elementary school where your mom happened to work.
Yes.
And then you went to 1 middle school and 1 high school.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. And how was high school for you?
High school for me was, I'm gonna say the first 2 years was rough trying to figure out where I fit in, but then the last 2 years, it was easy. I ain't gonna say easy, I'm gonna just say it was comfortable because I found my niche and, found a group of people that I was comfortable with.
So let's talk about that first 2 years. When you say trying to figure out where you fit in, what do you mean?
Camden High was like a bigger version of middle school to where you had people from every neighborhood there, and then you had the divisions based on the different classes. Like, I say it all the time, 95, the class of 95 that graduated from Camden High
Right.
changed the culture of Camden High because,
Which is your class, by the way.
yes,
Okay.
before my class, everybody was separate. Like, the juniors and seniors didn't really rock with the sophomores and the freshmen.
Okay.
But then when we came in, it was like we was embraced more, and then going forward, it was like there was no lines dividing the classes.
What do you
Like,
think was different about your class that caused you guys to be embraced?
I would say the changing of the times. When I say the changing of the times, like, you could look at music from when we came in to the music before. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. You got Run DMC was popular before we got there.
Right.
And when we got there, Biggie became the big difference. Biggie and Pop. So it's like, all right, the whole culture around everything changed. So going to high school, instead of it being a differentiation based off of, whatever was going on, it was based off of the music.
Right. Okay. So, and then you said in 11th and 12th grade, you found your niche.
Yes.
What exactly was your niche?
Run the track.
Okay. You were a track star?
Yeah.
What did you run? Like, I ain't gonna say a star, but I was on the track team. What did you run?
Hey, listen, I never embraced the term track star until I realized, track. If you run track, you are technically a star because it's you against the clock.
Right.
It ain't you against nobody else but the clock. So
Okay.
I embrace it. I ran the 110 high hurdles and the 400 intermediate hurdles. Also
Okay.
ran the 800. But something that I found funny when I first started running track, I ran track to get faster for football. And then when I started running track, I was like, hold up, wait, I like track better than I like football.
Okay.
And I was slow. I can admit to it.
Right.
But the coach, he was like, yeah, you're going to run the 3200, the 1600, which is the longer race. I'm like, why? I want to get faster. I didn't know what he was doing was prepping us to run the faster races. You got to get a base underneath you before you do anything.
Right.
So I was like, all right, it took me until I was 40-something to realize that the 15, 16-year-old me had to figure out, all right, what's going on because nobody explained it to me.
Right.
Now I'm older, I'm like, all right. So it brings me to the conversations I had with my son. I explain stuff to him so that he understands and so that he don't complain. I guess that's one of the reasons why they say he coachable, because I talk to him so that 9 times out of 10, if he's been introduced to somebody anywhere, he already gains an understanding of what's going on before he start, unlike some other kids that don't have that
Let's talk about that for a second. So you have that strategy, and then you have the Mr. Miyagi strategy, right? Where he had Daniel's son during the wax on, wax
Yes.
off for like a month.
Yes.
He's like, why am I doing this? But he wouldn't tell him
Yep.
until it was time for him to actually fight. He's like, yo, you never taught me how to fight. He was like, oh, yes, I did. So do you think there is an advantage from explaining and not explaining? Like, do you use, or do you use the completely 100% explaining strategy?
I use both. The funny part, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I used to always think, all right, I'm gonna be Daniel's son. But now in this time frame where it's a lot of quote unquote positive black males missing, I'm like, hold up, wait, I'm not Daniel's son, I'm Miyagi. So I gotta show this dude, or show any young person that I come across, I gotta do different things first, and then when I'm done, and if I catch him complaining, then I explain to him and show him how it fits in. That's the same thing with education. My son, I got him reading The Richest Man in Babylon. He like, Daddy, why you keep giving me these daggone books about finance? I'm like, trust me, it'll make sense when you get older. And now he has his own bank card. He like, hold up, all right, I get it.
Okay, got it. So you do a little mixture of both?
Yes.
Got it. So high school, question. Did you have your first job in high school?
Actually, I had my first job in 8th grade.
Your first job in 8th grade?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going door to door selling newspapers, selling the Courier Post.
Really?
Yeah.
Which is South Jersey's main newspaper, the Courier Post, right?
Yeah, literally signing people up, like knock on your door.
Okay.
Yeah, would you like to sign up for the Courier Post? Like selling subscriptions.
Okay.
That was the worst.
It was the worst? How long did you do it?
I did it for almost 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I ain't had no other options.
So did you, like, was it a salary or a commission based?
It was commission based.
Okay. How much did you make off of every subscription?
I did. I'm gonna say off of every subscription we got like $6.
Okay.
That ain't much, but to a kid that ain't had nothing, well, that was everything. You know what I mean?
Got it.
I could buy my own lunch for the week. Buy my,
Right.
You know, save up, buy whatever I want, do whatever I want.
Right. Okay. And so did you have any other jobs in high school?
Nah, in high school, once I got to high school, track and football became a priority.
Okay.
Like, I ran track to get faster for football. Then after I started finding out all the stuff that I do for football, everything was good.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to ask this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst ever and 10 being the best possible, how would you personally rate your childhood?
I say about 5.
Okay. Now, what would have had to occur for you to say it was a 6 or a 7?
That's tough. I would probably say more exposure, more doing things. Like, I was one of them kids that actually had a creative mind. I still got a creative mind to this day, but we really didn't do much as a family. And when I say didn't do much, I spent my summer vacations on my block. So from June to September, when we got out of school.
What block, by the way?
Mechanic Street.
Mechanic Street. Okay, shout out to Mechanic Street.
Between Lewis and Rose.
Okay.
So, you know, that was all I knew, my neighborhood. But my block was everything.
Okay.
I'm
So
in the house.
you didn't have a parent that your dad was like, you going to do something this summer. You ain't just going to be sitting around watching TV.
Not at all. It was whatever we wanted to do.
Got it.
And I was home until football camp started, and then that was my summer activities.
Okay.
It sucked.
Do you have a worst childhood day or time period that you would like to forever forget if you could?
Originally, my answer was no, but I thought of like 4 different things.
Okay.
I know originally it was 3, but it's 4. I'm gonna work backwards.
All right.
We're gonna start at high school.
Okay.
You know, at high school, like I said, I sucked running track when I first started.
Right.
But I actually ended up making it to the States my senior year, and
Did you?
being part of the state championship.
In what event?
110 high hurdles.
Nice.
Yeah, for that you gotta have a combination of speed, agility, and basically pay attention to what's going on around you. Like,
Right.
I was a nut. I used to run through hurdles and break them. But the bad part about running track in high school, my senior year, I did the best out of my 4 years in high school. Got to the awards banquet and get not their award. Everybody around me got awards, and I'm like, I ain't getting no award. This is my best season.
Right.
So that right there sucked, because I'm like, yo, I put in all this work, did everything I was supposed to do. Even we won the state championship. That was Canada High's first state championship in, I'm gonna say like 10, 20 years.
Right.
We brought it back. I got nothing. So that right there, that pissed me off.
That must have been a crushing feeling driving home.
Definitely.
Right.
Going, like I said, working backwards. You got the time where my brother, who basically, he don't realize how the situation affected me, but it affected me deeply to the point where I'm just making peace with it. When we was younger, my older brother Ali, he drowned, literally. He was pulled out of the pool at our family reunion, lifeless. They said he wasn't breathing, he wasn't doing nothing on his own. And the fact that my cousin was doing CPR on him until the EMS workers got there, that actually saved his life.
Wow.
And yeah.
You remember the cousin?
Yeah, I remember the cousin. His name is Roman Brown.
Shout out to Roman. Saved your brother's life.
Technically, his name is Ronnie, but we got a whole bunch of nicknames. Ronnie, Junebug.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did that affect you?
It made me more protective of my brother. And when I say protective, I mean...
Of your older brother?
Of my older brother.
Okay.
And like I said, he's the baby. I'm not the baby. I'm just the youngest.
Okay.
So for the most part, if he does anything, go anywhere, I'm supporting him. I'm showing out for him. And I'm the dude that, like, if you look at the gangster movies, you see the gangster walking, but they always got that one dude lurking in the back. I'm the dude lurking in the back, making sure my brother good. When in reality, it's supposed to be the other way around. But, you know, because of what I seen occur, my whole life has been, all right, got to make sure my brother good.
Got it.
Like, it traumatized me as a kid. Another situation, the other two, one, my cousin, Roman Brown Jr., they call him, his nickname was Stink. I don't know where the hood get the nickname from, but he was shot and killed when we was kids.
Ooh, sorry, condolences.
And he was shot and killed over a bike. Him and some dude got into an argument, and it started out as a fist fight. And when it escalated from the fist fight to dude pulling out a gun and shooting him and killing him. And basically, he was like, I say I got two brothers, but you know, we grew up in the family or grew up in a time where your cousins was your brothers. So
right.
Technically, he was one of my three brothers. So, and he was the first one of us to actually, you know, to die in that manner.
At such a young age.
Yeah. What was I like? I think I was like 12. So he would have been like 16 when he passed away.
Okay.
And the last one, like,
wait. So before we skip over that,
that's all good.
that devastated you, and you feel like it's still like you would like to erase that from ever happening. Obviously, right?
Definitely.
Right. Do you still does that still bother you today? Like having flashbacks or that, or are there any residuals from that?
The crazy part about that whole situation, like, I'm still sad about it, still bothered by it, but one thing that stick with me to this day, and the way in which I carry myself, when it all went down, all the adults left me, a 12-year-old, with the younger kids. And like, from this day, like, everything I do is for young people, and I work with young people regularly, whether coaching, mentoring, or whatever.
Okay.
And as a 12-year-old child, I got my nieces, my nephews, my cousins all around me. I'm like, yo, I'm in a room with like 8 kids. If you go to my Facebook page, some people will be like, yo, it's a selfie with me and like 8 kids. I'm like, that's been my life from that point forward.
From that point forward, that kind of molded you into who you are today.
Yes.
Interesting.
And it's just like, I didn't realize it.
Right.
And like, I'm gonna give you your shout out, give you, you know, appreciation, because you asking me some of these questions brought things out of me that I was like, hold on, wait, I didn't think about that. But now it's like, definitely putting pieces together.
Okay.
And sorry for the eye movement.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. I'm humbled, and I appreciate you for having the courage even to think about this stuff that you probably haven't thought about in years.
Agreed. And
the fourth one?
Yeah, the fourth one is something that you actually brought out of me. Like, when we was in 5th grade, one of my friends, her name Denise, I don't remember her last name because I had actually blocked out the whole situation.
This was at HB Wilson.
Yes, at
Okay.
HB Wilson. Her house was firebombed, and basically.
Wait, what? Her house was firebombed?
Yeah, somebody threw something through her house, basically something in her house, and set the house on fire. They said that basically it was over an argument over a car. Said that the neighbor thought that her brother or somebody was messing with his car, and so in retaliation he threw something through her window and set the house on fire, and she perished in a fire when we was in 5th grade. And
So this is back in the 80s.
yes,
Okay.
and I didn't realize that that was something that, you know, was lingering in the back of my mind till, you know, you and I started having this conversation, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, it's real messed up. And
Right.
it's ironic that it was in Fairview when it occurred, and I'm a firefighter now in Fairview. The first fire station that I worked was
Right.
in Fairview, and when the situation occurred, they would have been the first ones responded to her, you know, to everything that was going on. At
So
her
that's
house.
crazy. You actually became, to this day, a firefighter.
Yes.
Subconsciously, it could have been potentially because of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. But like I said, you brought that out of me.
That's
Like,
that's
I wouldn't even
amazing
thought
though.
about
How it's amazing. It's humbling. It is sometimes it's emotional how these things that happen when we are kids affect us like deeply into our adulthood.
it. Definitely, and this is all stuff that I'm saying suppressed because it's still there, and you know, this is all stuff that I've seen.
And people
but-
would never even know this story. Like people don't know that Denise existed, but there was a Denise who was a 5th grader in Camden, New Jersey back in the 80s who had nothing to do with it probably, right? And her house got firebombed. She dies in the fire. And then like, I guess one of the silver linings that came out of it, if there is one, is that you wound up becoming a firefighter in the same city, in the same section that happened in.
Yeah, it's
That's amazing. It's an amazing story how that happened, how every now and then a tragedy can lead to, you know, the good in people or bring out the good in people. I hate that it has to be a tragedy that does that, but at least we can like, okay, find some path towards like bettering this or if it was to happen again or any fire, like you are there to come and rescue people and save lives.
agreed.
That is mad interesting. Would you say, well, what in your opinion is your overall perception of how your childhood affected your life? Like, who is the Aaron of today? Who are you today? Who did you become? Which we kind of just covered, but that's probably just a percentage of you. Who's the man you became, and how would you say that these childhood events, like overall, even the stories you haven't told yet, have molded you into the person you are today?
So I use like SAT words to describe me when I say that.
Okay.
I say I'm an amalgamation, which is basically bits and pieces of everything. Like, you got people that talk about code switching and being able to sit at tables. Well, I feel as though I'm an individual based off of the life in which I was introduced to. I'm able to sit at any table because, like I said, growing up in our community, growing up on my street, my neighborhood, you had to be able to go
From corporate to ghetto in a second. Right.
Exactly. So my thing is, for me, I never subscribed to the idea of code switching, but my thing is, I just naturally, all right, if I'm walking into a room with a suit and tie on, cool, suit and tie. If I walk into a room where people laughing and giggling, all right, laugh and giggle. If people serious, walk in a room with the thugs, all right. I'm not a thug, I'm far from it, but my thing is,
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
you got to be able to maneuver
And adapt.
Exactly.
Right,
Adapt
right.
to the situation, get yourself in, get yourself out, and basically not become involved in whatever you see around.
So you feel like growing up in the hood prepared you for that, to be able to adapt?
Yes.
Because there's so many personalities on one block.
Exactly.
You might have a thug who lives on your block, a pretty boy, an athlete,
Yep.
the smart people, the religious people, the hustlers, the pimps. All these people can be on one block.
You said one block, one family. And
One family.
I'm gonna be honest, like, my older brother, he makes no qualms about who he was. My older brother, he was a street dude that actually turned his life around and is doing better. He's in school now working on his business degree.
Okay.
He working on his bachelor's. He got his associates. So, like you said, to go from the street dude, my brother Ali, who I say he the baby, like he gonna laugh when he see this, but he was the pretty boy. He was, but my older brother was the one that basically, to this day, people know not to play with him. He laugh, joke, giggle, and smile, but at the same time, the way people perceive me as being serious, he's the serious one. My dad was calm, cool, collective, mellow, and that's where I get part of my demeanor from. My mom was the quick switch. So basically, if something was to jump off, you ain't have to worry about my dad doing it. Be prepared for my mom. My mom, like, we all like, yo, can y'all shut her up? Can y'all move mommy out the way?
Right,
Like,
right.
my dad just sitting there like, all right, cool, just don't do nothing. Y'all can talk all y'all want, just don't do nothing.
Right.
My brother, my oldest brother, he the one that's like, all right, cool, talk all you want. You make a move, it's gonna be a problem. To this day, don't nobody play with him. And like you said, the whole family. My sister in Maryland, my sister Jen, she basically a combination of everybody. And they say I got my niece, I'm gonna give her a shout out, my niece Keontae, she said that I got limits. And when I say limits, I mean, as far as things go, I don't subscribe to, any conflict, that's not me. But at the same time, just like anybody from the hood, we're gonna hold conversation, and as things escalate, it's like either I deal with you or don't deal with you. So, and that's what we grew up with.
Okay. What other things? So you said you like to be exposed to things. You like to try new things.
Yeah.
You became a firefighter. Is there anything else?
All right. I laugh because growing up where we was at, in order to have fun and to go from neighborhood to neighborhood, you had to be able to do whatever. So we grew up with sports, we grew up with art, we grew up with entertainment. So I DJ, I do graphic arts, I do visual arts, I do spoken word.
Okay.
I coach. Only reason I coach is because there are players on certain teams that don't ever get a chance to play. And my thing is, I'll coach a rec league team on any given day, any time, with any kid that want to play, because I realized a lot of people that call themselves coaches, they're not really coaches, they managers. They manage talent is what they do. That's why they always recruiting the superstar player or recruiting the players that, the most skilled. My thing is, give me a kid that want to play. I heard it yesterday. They was like, yo, give me somebody that's coachable. We'll worry about the skill later. I can teach them the skill, but my thing is, if you're going to listen to me and do what I say, all right, we're going to win championships. Matter of fact, we're going to win games. We ain't got to win championships. Just go out there, have fun, and listen to what I'm saying. So my thing is, I adapted into, like I said, the visual arts, like painting, drawing, sketching. It was not something that I planned on doing, and I give my son all the credit for that, because one day he was like, Daddy, I want to paint. I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. So we went to the store, bought some paintbrushes, canvas. He went to YouTube, sat there, started doing. Was like, hold up, let me try this. Started doing it, posted pictures. People was like, how much? It was like, for what? They were like, the paintings. I was like, yo, y'all really want to buy this? They was like, yeah. So
time out. So you're a jack. So you became, your ability of all the things you experienced growing up taught you how to adapt.
Yes.
And also wanting more. Like, what else can I do?
Yes.
So you're a firefighter, an orator, a poet. What else did you say? You're an artist.
A DJ.
An
coach,
artist. So people can call you for all these things, contact you for all of these things. Okay.
Yes.
And the painting. So now you do what do you have organized like painting setups?
Yeah, that's funny. I do paintings for myself,
Okay.
or do paintings for other individuals, like commission pieces.
Okay.
I laugh because my uncle called me a mutant. He was like, yo, can't nobody really do, not too many people can do what you do. What I mean by do what I do, for the month of February, for Black
Okay.
History Month,
Okay.
I was copying different artist styles.
Okay.
Like, I got like 40 different artists, and each day I would copy their style and post a picture of my artwork me doing their different styles. And he was like, yo, most people don't do that. They pick their own style. I'm like, but I don't have a style. He was like, exactly. So my thing is, with that, can I show a couple?
Yes, we would love to see some of your artwork.
All right, this is one.
That is beautiful. Okay.
You good with that?
Yep, that's a good one.
All right.
Okay, what else you got? What else you got?
We got this one.
Beautiful. I love myself. Okay, okay.
right.
Wow, you are really talented.
Thank you, thank you.
Wow, that is nice. That is nice. Okay, one more. One more.
All right.
One more. Beautiful. Nice. So this is all you.
Yes, sir. It's all me copying other people's styles. When I say copy other people's styles, Lil Fame from MOP, he was like, I'm borrowing that energy, basically. They put the energy out in the world, and pretty much my thing is I'm adapting to what I see. So that's what's going on. What they say, you know, the law of thermodynamics, where
Right.
things can needs to be created nor destroyed. That's what it is. I see it, I borrow that energy, recreate what I see, and put it out there.
And people can come to you if they want to paint with you.
Yes, they we do sip. I do sip and paint nights. I was gonna say we, but it's technically me.
Okay.
I do sip and paint nights. I do pieces based off of whatever people can think of. If you see something that you like and you want it recreated, I could do it. And my thing is, I ain't gonna charge you arm and a leg. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm just doing it for fun.
Got it.
That's
Got
the
it.
way I
Got
say
it.
it.
So you mentioned that your son is 13.
Yes.
If we take your 13-year-old son right now and put him in your 13-year-old body in the early 90s, will he be able to survive?
Actually, I would probably say yes.
Okay.
The reason I say yes is because of all the stuff that I exposed him to, he's actually a better version of me, and that's my goal, to have him be better than me, even from teenage years to adult years. Only difference is he don't have no big brothers harassing him. He don't have no big sisters to lean on for support.
Oh, so he's the only child.
He's not an only child. He has a younger brother.
Okay, okay.
So he's the oldest.
Okay, got it.
His mom has another child.
Gotcha.
He's my only. And so basically, he's grown up with his cousin as well, but that's another
It's
story.
a different experience than you because you had all older. Now he
Yes.
has all younger. Got it.
Yes.
Got it. So lastly, I want you to give some advice to blank-year-old Aaron or blank-year-old Coop. If you could, like, knowing everything that you know now, if you could talk to a younger version of you, how old would he be, and what would you tell him?
So I would probably talk to the 10-year-old me.
10-year-old Aaron. Got it.
Introduced it. I would talk to the 10-year-old me and pretty much tell him what some of our elders have told me. They said pretty much learn everything, participate in everything, don't take everything personal, and pretty much adapt to whatever it is that's going around you, and don't let whatever it is around you drown out who you want to be. Can I chime in real quick about my son?
Feel free.
All right. One thing I tell him all the time is do what you want to do. Don't let nobody else dictate to you what's going on. One of the things that I pray for every day pertaining to my son is that he's able to be the man that he wants to be, and don't let nothing nobody else say influence who he is. Like, I laugh because he started collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'm like, Yu-Gi-Oh? Like, yo, how old is Yu-Gi-Oh cards? He 13 collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I was like, yo, don't let nobody tell you not to do it. He was like, why would I? I'm like, bet. That's what I like to hear. But at the same time, as far as activities and exposure to this dude, the stuff that I've done in my 43 years of life, like the stuff that I started learning at 20, 30, he doing now, he was doing before. Like, he's done gymnastics, parkour, MMA, training. He's wrestled, played baseball, played soccer, played basketball, played flag football. He does art, he does music. Like, he plays drum, guitar. He's right now doing coding classes, and he's taking business classes. I'm like, dude, you did all this before you got to high school.
Right.
So when you get to high school, real simple. You can pick and choose whichever lane you want to go to. And whatever lane you choose in high school, that's going to set you up for life. So my thing is, I'm big on exposure, and I'm big on that. And I wish I had the same opportunities that he had growing up, but at the same time, the older me talking to the younger me would definitely say, yo, listen, pick your path, go that way. It don't matter how many diversions you got in that path. All right, whatever the end goal is, that's the end goal. Just stay on that path.